All right, guys. Sorry about that. Hang on, buddy. I'm working right now. Go that way, okay? Okay. Sorry about that, guys. We've got some technical difficulties. You all are coming back up now, and I don't know why the title is also not correct. Okay. We'll get back up and running. Sorry about this. Yeah, I broke it, or I never even fixed it in the first place and had it up and running. Gosh. Okay. What we're going to do is break down Milton right now. Okay. Hurricane Milton. And I will take your questions. I will take your questions here at the end. What I'd like to do is give you an analysis of the latest thinking and show you kind of what we're talking about and just kind of what we're concerned with. All right. The one thing I want to share with you right now is a statement from the National Hurricane Center. Excuse me. And this is a concerning statement for sure. And it's something that I really think that we all need to keep in mind. It says that the intensity guidance is about as bullish as I've seen in this part of the basin, with almost everything showing a peak intensity of a Category 4 or 5 hurricane in the southern Gulf of Mexico in a day or two. The National Hurricane Center forecast is raised from the previous one, and it still could be too low. Basically, what that means is that, the current intensity landfall forecast of a 3, may not be enough. This could be a Category 5 hurricane, and then it could be possibly a Category 4 hurricane at landfall. It just there's no way to know, but the intensity guidance oftentimes is underdone. Okay, so that is just something to keep in mind. That this is again a rather sobering statement here from the Hurricane Center. Okay. Just something I want to make sure that you guys understand. All right. So are we getting an echo? Someone said, Jonathan said, or Topher said, there's an echo. Any of you guys hear an echo in my sound? Hopefully not. Okay. So let's continue the analysis here. I'll show you some of the latest thinking here from forecast models. We'll go over here and we'll show you that this is the European weather model. And again, as it would make landfall here, the potential here is that the European model right now would suggest that it does make landfall as a Category 3. There are some other models that are quite a bit more intense. The one that probably is doing the best right now between the two hurricane models, probably the HOR for the HMON in terms of just track and intensity. But here's the interesting part about these hurricane models. Look how far northwest they are of St. Pete and Tampa Bay. I'm not so sure they're going to be that far northwest. This is the HOR model. Here is the HMON, which is a little bit of a different one, but still it's a hurricane computer model. And again, it's a little bit northwest of the consensus right now with its forecast. Okay, so there's a potential here that this forecast and where it's going in terms of the landfall has some adjusting to do. I want to show you, this is a look at the Multimodel Ensemble. We're looking at over 130 different weather models here, and it's the Ensemble mean. And you can see where it has the landfall going just basically in Bradenton, just north of Sarasota. The Hurricane Center is a little bit further south than this. Okay. It's a little bit further south in terms of where it has it basically in or just around Sarasota. Okay. Regardless if it's St. Pete, Tampa, Bradenton, Sarasota area, which is where I think it's going to be, give or take a couple of these locations, you're talking about a storm to the likes of which we've really never seen before in this area. In fact, it's estimated we had a hurricane like this back in 1848. It's estimated that that's the last time a hurricane with that intensity went through the Tampa area. All right. The idea is we have not seen a storm like this in this area in any of our lifetimes. So, if you can just kind of imagine that this is basically, Helene in the Tampa area, the Sarasota area of Florida. It's the same intensity, right? And so the storm surge, you could be looking at a foot plus storm surge. Last time, I think the storm surge was maybe 6 to 9 feet. You're talking about winds that are gusting upwards to possibly 140 miles per hour at landfall, or sustained wind, if you will, which is unbelievable to think about. And rainfall, 8 or more inches of rain. So I just want you to guys understand just how serious this is, how serious it can be for the folks that are going to be impacted with the storm come Wednesday night. This is not anything to joke about or question. So I will get to your questions here in just a little bit in the comments. But again, I'm going to continue kind of my analysis. I want to show you something. This is, again, the Hurricane Center's landfall forecast right now. This is where they're saying, okay, there's going to be landfall. And again, it's basically Sarasota, just south of Bradenton. We are probably 10 miles north of the Hurricane Center. And the reason we are, okay, what do we see here? Hang on. I'm looking for, hope I don't see what comment you're referring to. I see your comment there. Please leave these types of comments out of our lives. As I addressed a little bit ago, if I have, if I see any of the types of comments that are just not necessary for the live, I will call you out and I will kick you out. And it just doesn't bother me. So if you're going to be rude, expect for me to be rude to you as well. Okay. So hope you can text me if you want to fill me in on what you're talking about. But anyways, this is the Hurricane Center's landfall here, or basically location of Milton, 5 o'clock Wednesday night. Okay. 120 mile per hour wind, category 3 hurricane. You can see just west of there, 12 hours prior to that, it was a category 4. It's quite possible that this could be a category 5 and that it could be a category 4 at landfall. It's very possible that these are underdone. Now, I want to talk to you about kind of my thought process with the tracks here. I want to show you, where did I have that image at here? Let me go back to I want to show you the trend in the morning model data. Okay. This is a look at the Ensemble Trends. The Ensemble mean. So you see we're taking data from the European, the American, the United Kingdom, the Canadian. We're blending them all together. That's happening on the Tomer Berg's website. You can look that up. And you can see the trend in the data on this latest run. That black line is the latest Ensemble mean projection. Okay. And it's a northwest trend is my point. You can see that it's northwest of the other lines, which are previous runs of the ensembles. All right. You can see when those runs occurred. The purple is last night's run. The pink is the run before that. All right. Then you have these runs down here. This was a day ago. You can see what I'm saying here. This was a day and a half ago. So we've seen a trend back northwest. There's a reason for this. Where you see my mouse here in the southern part of the country, there's a trough. There's an area, there's a trough digging in, or an area of low pressure. Some of the data has trended stronger or deeper with that trough, which would allow for us to pick up this storm, if you will, and have a tendency to tug it more northwest. The trough would do that. Some of the data was not as excited about the trough early on, which is why the forecast was further south that you can see in the prior runs. Now, again, we're taking the average of all of the weather data across the world here. There's like 130 different outcomes. And right now, that big, bold black line, that's the outcome from the mean of all those models. Sorry, we got the neighbor kids are over playing. Okay, I will. Over here playing with my son. But anyways, that black line, being that it's trended back to the north and west, has me a little bit concerned. Here's another thing I want to show you. This is the latest hurricane model runs from this afternoon. You can see how a lot of the models now are covering up that St. Pete, Tampa area. Well, earlier this morning, they were actually south. You can see how they were kind of south of the Tampa, St. Pete area. All right. So the trend has come back northwest this afternoon. And I think a lot of it has to do with the trough up there in the deep south of the U.S., potentially bringing it back northwest a little bit. Now, for those of you that are just joining us, I want to make sure you saw the statement here from the Hurricane Center. And I want to show you what that statement was. And it's basically talking about the intensity guidance, basically being, as about as intense as they've seen for the area. So a storm to this magnitude would be like to the likes of which we've never seen, like in this area in our lifetimes ever. Okay. So just something to keep in mind when you see words like this coming from the experts and all of us in the field who are forecasting this. You really want to get concerned. It's very concerning. So Wednesday night, we just believe it's worst case scenario for the Bay Area, Florida, Sarasota, Bradenton, Tampa, St. Pete, that area. We're just really concerned about it. Okay. So I do not think it'll reach Atlanta, Georgia, Alex. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put our forecast up on the screen, and then I'll take some questions. All right. Let me update this here so you can see our forecast. This is our forecast for landfall right now. Again, it's possible that this is underdone, that these could be, the 4s could be 5s and the 3 could be a 4. That is not, in fact, I would say it's probable right now. I wouldn't say the word likely, but it's probable. So let me go through the comments. I will take some questions. All right. Will this hit the Orlando area? Yes, it will. You can see my map here, taking it straight through Orlando as a very strong tropical storm. Okay. So yes, it is going to hit Orlando. Power outages, heavy rain, for sure. If possible, talk about how far inland people should have to evacuate their homes. That's a really good question. It's very difficult for me to answer that, but I would say, gosh, 20 miles. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough question. But I would say that if you're anywhere within 25 miles of the eye of Milton or close to it in that vicinity, I would evacuate and get out if you can. Okay. It will not impact South Carolina if that's what you're asking. Fort Myers, you are certainly not out of the woods. You're going to get hit hard with heavy rain and tropical storm force or even hurricane force winds. Fort Myers Beach, I do believe, is under a mandatory evacuation already. So I would get out of there if you can. Okay. Tampa is super low in terms of sea level. It's not going to take much for this to really impact Tampa. Zach says, why does it seem like Southwest Florida never gets hit? Well, it's because they don't. They're just not geographically in a spot to get hit. And a hurricane hitting this area here, it's only happened twice since we've kept records, 1848 and I think 1921. It's only happened 2 times in 200 years. So, something to keep in mind there. A lot of questions about flooding. Okay. I think a storm surge along the coastline is certainly going to be perhaps as much as a foot. I will show you the rainfall forecast map so you can see what that looks like right now. This is the rainfall forecast. The heaviest rain right now looks to fall in the Clearwater, Tampa, St. Pete area of more over the Tampa area of 6 to maybe as much as 10 inches of rain. Okay. Someone just said News Channel 5 said they have the eye going over Ocala. Okay. I'm not super familiar with where these cities are. Let's see here. Let's see. I know the name Ocala, but I don't have it pulled up on my map. So I'll have to find that here in just a second and see what I think about that. I'm curious about what you're saying here. We'll go to Google. I'm not from Florida, so sometimes these areas I don't know where exactly we're talking about. Okay, it is not Ocala. That is way wrong. Way too far north. Whoever said that, the eye going through Ocala, no. Ocala National Forest, no. Whoever said that, I would never watch them again. Honestly, that's concerning. Hope maybe you misheard. It's not Ocala, but that's way too far north and west. Okay. Anyways, let's see. Let me take some more questions here. You know, I keep moving, but the sun just keeps following me. It's a few hours from Tampa, according to Google Maps. Currently on my way to board a cruise Monday out of Port Canaveral. Will the hurricane affect the area? No, if you're leaving Monday, you should be fine. I don't know if that cruise will still be on. How will the Naples area be affected? A ton of rain, probably some hurricane force winds. Not the strongest part of the storm will hit Naples, but it'll certainly be a nasty part of the storm. Power outages. Clearwater. I honestly think Clearwater, you're in one of the worst spots. If you're in Clearwater and you can get out, get out. I don't think you're going to be able to recognize some of these cities after this storm rolls through, unfortunately. Very concerned about that. The Jacksonville impact, I think you're just going to get some rain and wind, maybe around 2 to 4 inches of rain, but nothing hurricane force wind. I don't think anything of like that. Maybe some post-tropical storm winds, but nothing crazy. Yeah, if you're up along the Panhandle, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. The villages of Florida, you're on the northwestern fringe of it. I do think you're going to get nasty tropical storm force winds, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and very heavy rain. The villages are a little south of Ocala, in between Tampa Bay and Ocala, but you're definitely going to get hit with a nasty part of the storm. Let me show you guys something, just so you guys can kind of see what it is that I'm talking about here. I've got a new run of my GFS model in. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Take a look at it. It came in here this afternoon, and gosh, it is still so far northwest. I can't show it to you because I don't agree with it. I think it's too far gone on where it makes landfall. Let me go back to my European model here, and we'll do a wind gust forecast, and then I'll pull it up here on the screen so you guys can see if you're down there in Florida what it is that what I'm looking at here. Again, here's the European weather model, and these are the wind gust forecasts. All right, you can see maximum gusts here just near Bradenton in the Tampa Bay area. Winds are gusting there around 110 miles per hour via this latest European weather model run. As the storm works inland Wednesday night into Thursday, you can see wind gusts there in the villages in the Ocala area near Orlando could top 65 miles per hour. Okay. So you're certainly going to get winds that are probably going to wipe out power for basically a large swath of Florida. You'll probably have power out for a while. Michael, thanks for bringing real data to the conversation. You're the best, never known to exaggerate. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Very nice of you. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the wind gust swath, that's what the European model would say where the worst of the winds are. And listen, I'll tell you, the European actually puts landfall of Milton in Tampa Bay. That's where it puts it down. Okay, you can see right here in this image, I'm showing you the area of low pressure. has landfall in Tampa Bay. That's where it's at. Okay. Clearwater Beach. It puts the low north of Sarasota and Bradenton, and it puts it in there as a high-end Category 3 hurricane, according to the latest European weather model. Okay. So again, I'm inclined to think this is the area that we really need to be concerned with come Wednesday night between 7 to call it 6 to 11 p.m. sometime Wednesday night for landfall there. Regardless of where you see this map right here, again, I really think you're going to have a hard time recognizing a lot of these cities after the storm goes through. I don't think people truly understand what this storm's going to be capable of. Trying not to exaggerate or scare people, but I don't think people are really aware of how crazy how strong this storm could be. If you're in the path, if you know someone, share this, tag them, get them out of there. This is not a storm to wait out. This is not one of those to try and, wait it out. It's just get out, just get it out. So, yeah, someone's saying, I didn't hear him laugh at you. I don't think I've laughed at anybody. I think I laughed at the idea that news channel was saying that storm, the eye of the storm, was going to go into Ocala, because that is so far wrong. It's not even funny. Don't listen to that. Again, I'll show you the official Hurricane Center forecast right here. This is the official National Hurricane Center forecast. I'll show it to you, and you can see. Turn it on. You can see where they're putting it. All right, let me share my screen. And look, this is where they have the eye of Milton going, just south of Sarasota. I'm personally under the belief it's a little bit closer up here. All right, we're talking 20 miles maybe, but they're just south of Sarasota, between Port Charlotte and Sarasota. I think the Bradenton to St. Petersburg area needs to certainly watch out. This is where the Hurricane Center takes the eye of Milton. Okay. The eye of Milton. Okay. Fort Myers Beach was not recognizable after Ian. And I think that this could be worse than Ian. Unfortunately, I think it could be worse than Ian. So that's concerning. We don't have storm surge. The storm surge data is not really come into view just yet. Now there is forecasting going on for the storm surge right now. I think you can see the screen. The storm surge forecasting right now, you can see there are reds working in, which is greater than 9 feet above ground. And that stretches as far south there as Naples. So, you can see Cape Coral. So it's saying a 9-foot plus storm surge right now. I think that's conservative, even into the Tampa Clearwater area. It's a 6 to 9 foot storm surge. Once that comes closer into view, I think we're going to see 12 to 15 foot storm surges in the forecast. So very, very concerned about that for sure. Yeah. It doesn't really matter where it does matter where the eye goes. Regardless, this is going to impact so much of the West Coast. That's the unfortunate part. So, guys, that's going to do it for me on the live tonight. Share this with a friend. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it is you use. Make sure you're following us. Make sure your friends are following us for the latest data and the latest forecast updates. We'll be sure to keep you posted. In fact, it's possible that we might be live on TikTok right now. One of my Xander might be live, or he might be going live here soon to do another analysis over on TikTok. So thanks for watching. Thank you guys so much. Stay safe and take this very seriously, and we'll keep you posted. Have a